Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Listen, oh my goodness, my throat is still a little bit tricky, so I'm asking you to bear with me. This morning, we need to talk about the state of Massachusetts versus Brian Walshe. A case overview. Now listen, for months, people have been saying, Brian Walshe, but I was like, ew, Massachusetts, I don't know about this case. I don't know if I want to cover it, but opening statements are today. So I was like, okay, let me just take a little peek and see what I can find out about this case, and maybe I'll do it, and maybe I won't. And then I was like, wait. He did what? And then what happened? And then what? This case has utterly blown my mind. We're going to get into it, but first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, share it out, and hype the video. You get 3 hypes a week, and if I can get just a couple of those, I would be eternally grateful. Me and you, we're going to get to 30,000 subscribers together. So listen, this is the case overview. That is the broad strokes of what we expect to see in this trial in the state of Massachusetts versus Brian Walshe. Now, when trial opens today, it's a whole bunch of different places you can watch it. Me personally, I recommend Pretty Lies and Alibis. Good morning, Gigi girl. How you doing? Grizzy True Crime. And of course, EDB. Oh yes, our girl, Emily D. Baker. Those people are streaming it. There's probably others. Let me know where you'll be watching in the comments of this video. Okay, so picture it. Massachusetts, January 2023. It's a cold night. I mean, I honestly don't know. But since it was January in Massachusetts, I'm assuming it was super duper cold. Okay, so this dude, Brian Walshe, is accused of, oh, what words can we say here on the tubes of you? Okay, he was accused of beating and killing and cutting up his wife. I don't, if they needed to edit that out, I guess, you know, YouTube will let me know. And they had 3 young children. And I was like, wait, that's a lot of activity to get done there in the house with the kids sleeping upstairs. Anna had worked in DC, but she also had a home in Massachusetts. Oh, they had money. You know what I'm saying? She got a house in DC and a house in like a fancy section of Massachusetts. Okay, girl, I see you. But right before this trial was supposed to kick off, her husband took a guilty plea. And I was like, wait, he did what? Why are we going to trial? Turns out Brian has pled guilty to improper handling of human remains. Sir, what? That sounds gross. Also, misleading police. Okay. That means the state now just must prove that he premeditated the unfortunate unaliving of his wife. Okay. I mean, is he trying to say that he accidentally dismembered her and threw her away? Look. This is what we know so far. I'm just giving you the high points because, like I said, there's a lot of information in this case, and I am not that well versed in it. But let me tell you what I find out. Child, get your clutching pearls because this case is something else, right? In 2021, a couple of years ago, Brian took a guilty plea to art fraud. And I was like, he just all up in the criminal situation. Okay. He went on eBay and sold somebody a fake Andy Warhol. Hi, let's pause here. People are out here buying authentic art on eBay, you say. Okay. Apparently, he was up on eBay like, hey, y'all, hey, I have this really fancy and expensive Andy Warhol. Would you like to buy it? And a Warhol collector was like, oh, right here on the eBay. Let's go on and buy this. And Brian was like, hey, listen, you know how eBay offers you all those protections if you buy stuff in case you get scammed and stuff? eBay will help you out. But if me and you go around eBay and just go outside the system, I can sell it to you privately for a discount. Also, you're not going to have all those protections and stuff. And the buyer was like, yep, that sounds great. Let me just buy this for a discount. He bought the Warhol outside of eBay at a deep discount, and he got deeply tricked because he had bought himself a fraudulent Andy Warhol for like $80,000. For the extra 20 G's, I would have taken the protections of eBay, but that's just me. So Brian had pled guilty in the art fraud case. He was at home on, he already pled guilty. So they put him on like pre-sentencing probation. That means you got to stay in the house and they put one of those little ankle bracelets on you and the feds are monitoring where you go. But he was just like, hey feds, hey, I pled guilty years ago. It takes forever to go to prison. But so I'm going to be busy here. I'm the primary caretaker of my young children and I need to let you know when I'm going to be out of the house. I need to drop them off at school and pick them up from school. So can I be out of the house during those times? And the feds was like, oh yeah, you've been free for years. So yeah, why don't you go ahead and do that? Ultimately, in that case, he was sentenced to 37 months for the fraud. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. Then we learned in this case that his wife, Anna, Brian's wife, Anna, first of all, she was looking at him like, I know this idiot did not. You gonna embarrass me in front of all the neighbors and stuff. You got an ankle bracelet. You about to go to federal prison. Ew, wow. But he was just like, Anna is real sick of my triflingness. I mean, reportedly, allegedly, I would be sick of his triflingness if I was her. So I assume she was real sick of his triflingness. And she was like, I might have to leave this ignorant Mama Luke because who has time for this foolishness? Anna was a high-powered businesswoman. She's out here wheeling and dealing and getting things done. And this idiot's at home committing our fraud. No, thank you. But we find out that Anna had $3.7 million in life insurance. Say no more. He did it for the money. But, the judicial process or whatever, we're going to walk through this case and find out what happened. We also found out that Brian Walshe comes from money. Oh, money, you say? Like money? Mm-hmm. He comes from money. When his daddy died, he expected to inherit a whole bunch of money. But his father, who died in 2018, was like, yeah, this is my last will and testament in which I leave Brian Walshe my good wishes. Because he's a scumbag. I mean, reportedly, allegedly, he's a scumbag. His daddy ain't leave him nothing when he died. That's okay, because the mama still had money and she was still on this side of glory. But the daddy was like, nah. Brian, being the scumbag that he is, reportedly, allegedly, I'm not sure what disclaimer you need here, but just insert your own. I have thoughts and feelings about this man. He was like, okay, my daddy is dead and he leave me no money or nothing, but that's okay. I'm real crafty, so I'm going to go into his house. Brian went into his father's house and sold off art, expensive rugs, jewelry, and his car. Sarah, you stealing from a dead man or the estate of a dead man? Oh my God. He also tried to sell off his father's house, but the friends was like, nah. That trifling boy who his daddy ain't leave nothing, now he's trying to sell off the house. Nope, we're not going to do this. So Brian goes to court and he was like, I would like to contest this will. I think it was forged. It was fraudulent. I know a little something about that fraudulent life, and I think it was fraudulent. Brian, sir, I'm going to need you to have all the seats in the world. Meanwhile, Anna was like, no, I can't. You see what I'm dealing with? He's doughy. He's stupid. He steals stuff. In my mind, that's what I think she was saying. And so she was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm back and forth between Massachusetts and D.C. I'm going to get me a boo thing down in D.C. So she got her little sneaky link down there in D.C. And she was having a good time with him. She was planning to leave Brian. She's like, he's going to jail pretty soon. And I'm going to take these kids and me and my sneaky link are going to have a whole other life having nothing to do with him. He going to be in jail. So he's not going to be able to see the kids anyway. Reportedly, allegedly, Anna spent key times with her lover, including Thanksgiving Day in Ireland. You traveling internationally with your sneaky link? Girl. She also spent Christmas Eve with him. And I was like, oh, your kids was not expecting you at home. They're like, where's Santa? Also, where is mommy? Oh, mommy is off diddling the kibbles and bits of another man. Okay. And when they finally found Anna's phone, they realized that the sneaky link was most of her phone calls were to him. Now, this dumb behind Brian was like, what? Having an affair on me? I am wonderful. He reportedly, allegedly discovered the affair in December of 2022. That's right around the time that she slipped the surly bonds of this earth. Everybody knew that Anna wanted out, right? She was like, I'm going to get out. When my husband goes off to jail, I'm going to divorce his behind. And the sneaky link is going to become my main boo thing. And we're going to live happily ever after in D.C. without this ignorant Mama Luke. Brian, on the other hand, was telling the court, listen, I I can't really go to jail like that because I am the primary caregiver of my children. So if you could just keep me on this little ankle bracelet or whatever, it was a white collar crime. Nobody slipped the surly bonds of this earth. I have to take care of my babies because of my wife's job. And so the court case kept getting delayed and delayed and delayed. And then finally Anna was like, wait, why is this taking so long? My boo thing is getting things ready down in DC. I can't, this man. So we discover that in December 2022, right around the same time that Brian discovered the affair, in my opinion, he told his mama about the affair. Now, they're saying that Brian's mama went to a psychic and the psychic was like, in my crystal ball, I see your daughter-in-law having an affair and you should hire a private investigator. I don't know how Brian's mama found out about Anna's affair. She says the psychic told her. Brian was like, ooh, I had no idea. I would never tell my mama nothing. Also, he's a lying-ass liar. So who knows? Regardless, Anna's mother-in-law, Brian's mom, hired a PI to follow Anna around. Okay. Everybody calm down. Yes, Mrs. Walsh, you see she's married to an idiot. What is she supposed to do? Yes, she had to get her little side piece. Anyway, so after Brian found out that his wife was cheating, he just let his Google fingers do the walking. Now, let me tell you something. There's Google searches and there's Google searches. This man has the most epic also guilty Google searches I've ever seen in my life, in any case ever. He's not smart enough to Google on incognito. He just out here on the regular Google schmoogling things. He Googled cheating wife porn. Sir, is that a thing? Well, listen, I don't Google a lot of naked pictures and stuff, but apparently that's a genre. Unclear. Okay. And then he was Googling the best states to divorce. Something tells me it was not Massachusetts, but okay, I don't know because I've never been divorced. Anyway, per Brian, on New Year's Eve, oh, she finally spent a holiday with you. Oh, good for you. Good for you. Okay. That probably does not mean much for your marriage since she had that other boo thing and a whole other house in DC, but okay, whatever. On New Year's Eve, according to Brian, who's a lying-ass liar who lies about everything, he and Anna went to bed at like 1 a.m. They're like, Happy New Year. This was wonderful. Okay. Then according to Brian, Anna woke up and on New Year's Day, she was like, oh, I have a work emergency. She worked in real estate. You have a work emergency on New Year's Day and you left immediately. Okay. Cool. New Year's Day, 5 a.m., Brian's Google searches, he let his Google fingers do the walking. Also, not on incognito, but reportedly, allegedly, he was Googling from his child's iPad, and he Googled how to stop a body from decomposing. Child locks don't block that. I would think if you have a child with an iPad, they would have blocks and stuff so that your children can't be Googling how to get rid of a dead body. Child lock people on the internet, maybe you might want to look into that. He also Googled how to embalm. Sir, you were thinking of embalming your... Can you buy embalming fluid commercially? You just go down to the Home Depot in the embalming aisle? I don't know how that works. Anyway, additionally, he Googled 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. 10 ways? 10. Okay. If you really need to. I'm fascinated by the idiocy of this man. Fascinated. And then he Googles, of course, how long does somebody have to be missing before you can inherit? Because that's the most important part of this. He's like, she got that $1 million of life insurance. How long does she have to be? Because I'm gonna need some cash. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. Even though my mama's rich and stuff, sometimes she be withholding money. And you know, my daddy ain't leave me nothing but good wishes. And he probably has tricked up all that money from selling all his daddy stuff off. So he's like, wonder how long this is going to take. He also Googled, can you throw body parts away? Sir, the answer is no. No. Then he took a break and made breakfast for the kids. And then he Googled, what does formaldehyde do? Sir, I think that you should be convicted on the strength of who Googles these things. I for the life of me, cannot. And then he was like, can identification be made on partial remains? Best ways to dispose of a body. Sir, please stop Googling. I'm going to need you to stop Googling. I'm going to need you to stop giving things a bing. I'm going to need you to put down the computer and back away because you are the dumbest man alive. He's clearly not a true crime fan. He does not realize that Google searches are admissible in a court of law, also in a court of public opinion, because I personally have you down as guilty on the strength of them trifling ass Google searches. He also Googles how to clean up blood from a wood floor. Now, that's good information to know because you might have blood on a wood floor for any number of reasons. But sir, coupled with the other Google searches you've had, no. He Googles luminol. Okay. And what happens to body parts when you put them in ammonia? Well, nothing good, I would imagine, but I don't know. He also Googled, is it better to throw away bloody clothes or wash them? At this point, my brain had partially exploded and was oozing out of my ear. But wait, there's more stupidity. Then a babysitter arrives at the house, and Brian had told the probation people, listen, my ankle monitor is going to show I'm going to my mama's house because she has surgery and I need to help her run some errands and stuff. So please give me this little time. And of course, the feds were like, yeah, you confessed 100 years ago. You still out here in these free streets, though why I don't know. So yeah, you can go on over to your mama's house and help her out. And Brian is like, also, hey sitter, hey, listen, I know you're watching the kids and stuff. I lost my phone. I don't know where it went. Sometime within the last day or so, in all the New Year's Eve revelry. Also in the unfortunate unalive of my wife. My phone has gone missing. So if you see it, keep an eye out. Thanks so much. Meanwhile, Brian takes his child's phone and the phone pings at the liquor store. Sir, are we expected to believe that your child is out here buying liquor? Okay. They also have evidence of Brian using the dumpsters behind the liquor store. Also, the dumpster at his mama's apartment building. The stupid is almost too much, but I'm really, really here for it. Please hold. I have talked my throat dry. Then Brian does what unfortunate unalivers everywhere have done, and he goes and finds himself a nice murder aisle. Now, most people are murdering on a budget, and that I understand, times are tough. Not Brian. He goes down to Lowe's. Oh, you're paying full price. Okay. I like a moneyed unfortunate unaliver. And usually when people are trying to cover up a crime, they want to be conservative. I don't want to buy anything too incriminating down here at the murder aisle. So I'm going to buy one little pack of zip ties and one plastic sheeting and one, gallon of bleach. No, not Brian. He buys five 5-gallon buckets. 5? You say, why do you need 5? Okay. A handsaw, 48 towels. I assume those came in a pack. He wasn't individually picking out towels. Also, it was Lowe's, so I assumed they were low quality towels. Like things you would use in the hardware setting. Okay. A Tyvek suit and shoe covers. Sir, that is the guiltiest shopping list I have ever seen in my life. But wait, there's more. He also buys a hammer, a mop, wire snips, 200 disposable rags, Murphy's oil soap, which is great for cleaning a wood floor. That I'm not mad at. Plus other cleaners. So how much did you spend at the Lowe's? And they don't automatically just send the police to your house when you're buying these kinds of things. Oh, wait, but then he goes over to the CVS and buys 13 different types of peroxide. Me personally, I did not know they made 13 different types of peroxide, but now I know. Then he went to Stop and Shop and bought 3 gallons of ammonia. What in the world? Clearly, this is a moneyed murderer. Okay, cool. Did he use a coupon? Did he use his little discount card? Can you bloop this little thing so I can get $1 off or something? Oh no, I'm telling you, we're used to people who are murdering on a budget. Not this Mama Luke. He got cash to spare. He got money, right? Not money to hire a dude to help him cover this up because he's real stupid. Anyway, then he goes back on Google and I was like, dear Black Jesus, please let him Google on incognito. Let him give some stuff a bang. What is this boy doing? And then he asked Google. He should have just asked ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, and just explain his whole problem and then let ChatGPT lay everything out for him, because that's just as bad as what he did. He went on Google and he Googles hacksaw, best way to dismember a body. Sarah, I cannot. I was just like, okay. And then he Googles, can you be charged with murder without a body? Can a body be identified with broken teeth? How long does somebody have to be missing before you can collect? Sir, I think we covered that before. Didn't you Google that the day before? Okay. And while he was thinking about like, how long till I can get these millions of dollars? What would I buy with this money? Oh, and then he Googled luxury watches. This man's a sociopath. Watches though? Really? I would think you would want like a Scottish chalet, a Swiss chalet to get out of the country. But also he's real stupid. So I could see him not thinking of real estate plans. Also, do watches appreciate in value I don't understand how you're going to do all this and then buy an asset that depreciates. But that's just me. I don't know if watches actually depreciate. Anyway, that was all January 1st. He had a very busy day. I'm tired just hearing about it. I kind of need a nap. Then January 2nd, he goes out and runs some errands, still shopping. I think he might have a shopping addiction in addition to like his enjoying, unfortunately, unalive people. He goes to Home Goods because, listen, January 2nd, the sales they were probably having down to the Home Goods, the after Christmas sales, the New Year's sales. He bought himself 3 area rugs and scented candles. Ooh, what scent? Did you get like a nice vanilla? I like those light scents. Anyway, then he goes to the Home Depot and he buys 3 5-gallon buckets with leak-proof lids. Leak-proof, you say? What you trying to keep in there, Brian? He buys plastic sheeting, 24 pounds of baking soda. When you was a Stop and Shop, you couldn't have just got one of them little boxes. 24 pounds of baking soda and yet another Tyvek suit. Sir, you're going to jail. I'm telling you, on the strength of these Google searches and your shopping list, jail, go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You are positively the dumbest criminal I have ever seen in my entire life. It is absolutely unbelievable. I could not love it more. I'm so glad they're going to convict you very, very soon. Anyway, later he's seen at some dumpsters putting big, heavy bags in the dumpster. Sarah. Okay. Why don't you just take a selfie with you and a dead body? Because that's the only thing that's missing from this pile of evidence that the police have found. The next day on Google, he's like, hey, Google, I'm back. Listen, I have cleaned up the corpse, as you could probably tell. But what happens to hair on a dead body? Sir. And then he asked a very important question. Decomposition, plastic bag versus just being out there in the open in the woods. Which disintegrates faster? Okay, first of all, obviously the woods, because animal predation. But also, I'm a true crime fan. Plastic bags, sir. You're not supposed to put nothing in plastic. They don't biodisintegrate. And then if it's a heavy body, you're going to have to use those contractor bags. Those don't break down as fast. I am not trying to help him. I'm just like, this is so stupid. It's positively the stupidest criminal I've ever seen in my life. Stay stupid, scumbag, because you're going to jail forever, ever. Anyway. And then he Googles, can soda make a body smell good? Sir, I'm willing to bet nothing can make a dead body smell good. Just my thoughts. I mean, I know he's thinking, you put the little baking soda in the refrigerator and that takes care of smells. And he did buy that 32-gallon bottle or whatever of 24 gallons of baking soda, but that don't seem like enough for a whole dead body. Then the shopping continued. Oh no, he's done it down at the Walmart murder aisle or the Lowe's murder aisle or the CVS murder aisle. He goes over to TJ Maxx and he buys towels, a bath mat, and men's clothing. Okay. I can't with this man. First of all, I admire the amount of money he spent on this project, sir. You know, that would have been a nice deposit for a divorce lawyer. I wonder how much he spent altogether. Did he use any coupons? Did he do the little bloop bloop thing so he could get the money off so they could easily track his packages, his purchases and stuff? I don't know. Then he drops by Lowe's and he's like, every time you think you know how it is at the hardware store. You think you got everything you need and then you're like, dang, I forgot this one thing, which is why you end up making 25,000 trips down to the hardware store. So he swings back by Lowe's and picks up a new trash can and a squeegee. Sir, I'm sure he was tired by then, but you know, he still had cover up to do. So the next day he calls Anna's job and is like, hey y'all, hey, have you seen Anna? I have not seen her in a little while. The people at the job was like, that slimy Mama Luke she married to says he came from boop, 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 boop. Hello, police in Massachusetts. You need to go to Anna Walsh's house because something hinky is happening down there. Her husband is real super duper sus and you should go check. Yeah, the job called and reported her missing, not Brian. So the police arrived for a welfare check and he's just like, just waking up from a nap. I just made that part up, but it feels true. After all of that activity and shopping and running around, I'm sure he was exhausted. Plus, he had all them little kids in the house. He was just like, oh, hey, police. Hey, listen. Yeah, no, I haven't seen her. Now that you're here, can I make a missing persons report? Sir, you a day late and $1 short. He never called the police on his own. He waited for them to show up at his house and was like, oh, great. I'm so glad you're here. Listen, this is what I need to do. The police have these highly sensitive recording devices. Yes, their body cam, also their eyeballs. And they're like, oh, what is this? Shady Mama Luke with a plastic liner in the trunk of his car. We will take note. Later, they asked Brian, hey, listen. What happened to that plastic liner that was in the back of your car? And he said, oh, plastic liner, you said. Yeah, I threw that away. I got rid of it. I didn't need it anymore, so I threw it away. And the police were like, okay, we have this nice search warrant. We're gonna have a look around. They discovered blood in his car as a shock to absolutely no one. And then on January 7th, a week after the crime, I mean, all of this was a crime. Them Google searches was a crime. Those purchases, that should be a felony. Yes, I know he paid money. He didn't steal the stuff. But on the strength of this stupidity, they should arrest him for that. But apparently that's not against the law. But on January 7th, they were finally like, January 7th, the police receive a ransom note. Sir, I'm going to need you to do better. Okay, Patsy Ramsey with your homemade ransom note. He was just like, we have Anna Walsh, and if you pay $127,000, you can have her. Otherwise, you're never going to see her again. Good luck finding us. Sir, that note is missing a couple things. I don't know if you know from ransom notes. Have you never seen a movie? He was just like, the police were like, This is a real interesting ransom note for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's no timeline. You know, it's supposed to say, get us this money in 24 hours or you never see her again. They just left that part out. They wasn't worried about that. Also, no contact information. I guess you could just hit reply all and reach back out to the kidnappers. But sir, Mr. Brian Walsh, you are so bad at crime. I'd be hard pressed to find somebody worse at crime than you. Then on January 8th, Brian is arrested for misleading the cops. That is the least of what he has done. This stupid mama. Okay. The police search the house and they find blood in the basement, a bloody knife, and a plastic tarp. You don't say. He's not even smart enough to clean stuff up good. Okay. All right. Since he was on that ankle monitor, you know what you're not supposed to do? Commit more crimes while you're on an ankle monitor because they can see where you went. They go down to Brian's mama's house and they're just like, oh, these dumpsters back here. Let's look in the trash and see what we find. Oh, what have we here? 10 bags of incriminating evidence. 10 bags. One bag is usually enough to do you in. 10 bags of incriminating evidence, including, but certainly not limited to, towels, rags that are stained with blood, the Tyvek suit, gloves, Anna's COVID-19 vaccination card. Why'd you just put her picture ID and a selfie of you next to her dead body, Sarah? I can't with this man. Anyway, then that was in January. So Brian is sitting in jail all this time. September 12th of 2025, somebody stabs him up in jail. Probably because he was talking too much. You know, he said something stupid and they were like, look, I'm here for some other crimes, but I can't take him. I can't do it. So they stab him up. I'm not saying you're supposed to stab other people in jail. That's terrible. But if anybody had it coming, I promise you it was Brian Walshe. We here at Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo do not advocate for the stabation of others unless you really, really have to. And based on the strength of his personality and his running mouth, I promise you, whoever stabbed him up, they had to. They just felt like, I have no choice. He wouldn't shut up. He was saying stupid things. Have you heard the things that come out of this man's mouth? I would have stabbed him had I been there, but I'm not going to jail. Also, I don't believe in self-snitching. This is a comedy channel. Anyway, October 6th. The trial gets delayed because Brian was like, remember how that time somebody stabbed me up? I am decompensating mentally. I'm not sure that I'm competent to stand trial. Sir, I'm not sure you were competent to stand trial before, but okay, don't go by me. After 40 days down to the nervous hospital, they deemed Bryant competent to stand trial. Okay, whatever, sir. And then right before this case was supposed to come to trial, Brian was like, hey, Judge, hey, I would like to plead guilty. And I was like, oh, good, no trial? Oh, no. Brian pleads guilty to a lesser charge of disposing of a dead body. Really? That's all you pleading to? Not the rest of it? Okay. So that means the trial is going to go on, only now the state has to prove that he committed unfortunate unaliving in the first degree. Oh, yeah, they have selected 16 jury members. The jury is all seated. Everybody's ready to go. And Brian, who thinks he's the smartest man in the room, I promise you he's not. If there was a cockroach in the room, it is smarter than Brian Walshe. This Mama Luke, I absolutely cannot. Although I kind of can. Because will I be watching this trial? It's the state has like 100 witnesses. Oh, Jesus, I hope some of them are short. And then the defense is like, we have like 7 or 8 witnesses to prove that he's clearly still mentally incompetent and real extra strength stupid. And maybe, honestly, I don't know what the opening statements are going to be. We know what the state's opening statements are going to be. The defense, what are they going to say? This was second degree. Yes, he cut her into pieces, but after he accidentally, unfortunately, unalived her. So find him guilty of second degree and sent him to prison for less than life. This man, I don't know where they make this kind of dumb. This is like a special extra strength dumb, which is kind of my favorite thing, because then the whole internet is not fighting like he did it, he didn't do it. Justice for Brian, child, justice for Anna Walshe. Number one, she had to live with this ignorant Mama Luke for years. She was married to him. She had babies by him. That poor thing. She let him touch her. Ew. Okay. So that's your overview of the Brian Walshe trial. Child, I will be perched. I will be ready. I will be watching every single moment. Unless I get busy and distracted doing other things. But we're going to report. Oh, yes, we will gather here again to break down what's happening in this trial. Y'all, you be safe out there. And you know how we do. I will see you next crime. Bye.